Hey guys, welcome to another Cigar Chat brought to you live on CigarFederation.com, broadcast around the world in the Armed Forces Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are out there in the world today. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day to hang out with us. Robbie Raz from Cigar Federation here with you. As always, out in California where it got cold and rainy and everything today, but we survived. Logan, how's everything going in the great state of Texas?
It's cold, man. It got like 35 today. It was just all around disgusting.
Yeah, I don't. Well, when I say it got cold in California, it got
like
down
65.
Yeah, but it was rainy and a little bit chilly. But I don't know. This is my favorite time of year, though. I like the transition from fall into winter. But this isn't a dating site, and nobody cares about that stuff. So let's move on. We've got Gabriel Alvarez from Selva Cigars here with us today. Gabriel, thanks for taking the time, man.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So we're gonna jump right in here. We've got some giveaways we're gonna get to later. Logan will go into detail on that. So I want to know more about the history of Selva cigars because they've been around for a while in the European market. Just now or just recently getting into the American market. So and I know that you're relatively new with the company as well. So congratulations there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, give us some of the background on the brand itself.
Well, Maya Selva started about 20 years ago. Next year we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary.
Wow.
And we started with the Flor de Selva line. The natural, the Connecticut, not the Maduros. The Maduros are nowhere near that old. But about 20 years ago in France, Maya decided that she wanted to do something to give back to her land, which is Honduras. She went back and under the tutelage of Nestor Plasencia, learned everything that had to do with tobacco, and developed her own line 3 years later. She worked in the factory, she worked on the farms, she did everything from step one. And after Nestor thought that she was ready, they started blending a cigar for her company. And that's where the Flor de Selva line came out of. Now 20 years later, we have also a Nicaraguan puro. Well, the Flor de Selva is an Honduran puro, 100% Honduran. We have a Nicaraguan puro, which is now 15 years old next year as well. And then we have a blend that we make in our own factory in Honduras, which is the Villa Zamorano, the VZs. And that's about 8 years old on the market now.
Wow, so they've and so those blends have been around for a while. Now the Maduro, you said that's a relatively new blend, isn't it?
Yeah, the Robusto was released last year at the IPCPR.
Okay.
When they did the transition here, that's when they introduced here in the United States. And they did a worldwide release of the Robusto Maduro. After the success of the Robusto Maduro, she decided to go ahead and do 2 more Vitolas, which was the number 15 that you were able to smoke, and the Tempo, which is a 6x60.
Okay, yeah,
and that was released this year at the IPCPR.
Okay, so those were released this year. Okay, yeah, that's I did a little bit of research, which is kind of weird, Logan. I did some research before a show, and I saw that the company has been around, like you said, since '98, I think, '97,
94.
94. Wow. Okay, so I was
94.
I didn't do that much research, but anyway, and when I'm smoking that Maduro that I smoked, that is not that cigar is for the American palate, or the modern palate that we like to call it. That doesn't seem like the kind of cigar that's been around in Europe for 15 years.
No, the thing is that the European market is going through some sort of transition as well because they're getting exposed to more and more American cigars.
Okay, that makes sense.
So they're accepting more strength.
Yeah, because when you talk about traditionally you talk about the European market and you're talking about Cuban cigars because that's mainly what's over there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point. That everybody is getting is getting more exposed to Nicaraguan tobaccos and Dominican tobaccos. Nicaraguan tobacco wasn't a big deal 10 years ago, or I don't know what the math is. Logan would know that better
Well,
than I do.
we were essentially the first company to introduce Nicaraguan tobacco in Europe when we
Really?
launched the Kumpai. Yeah. We were the
Now,
first true puro in the European market for a Nicaraguan cigar because Padron wasn't available in Europe at that time.
huh. Now, when the Kumbai, I haven't tried that one yet. That one is more full strength, yeah?
No, that's a medium body, very creamy, nice hints of spice in it, very well balanced. One thing you'll notice with our core lines, which is the Flor de Ceiba Connecticut and the Kumpai line, they are very, very well balanced, very well flavored cigars. And that's what the Europeans are used to. They want something to be able to sit down and enjoy throughout the entire smoking process.
Yeah, that I'll talk a little bit about the Maduro because I know Logan liked it too. So chime in whenever you want, Logan. I smoked two of those. You sent us some samples. I smoked two for that review, and the first one that I smoked, it reminded me of the first time that I smoked a Liga number 9, Liga Privada number 9, where it's got that. I mean, they're different blends, but
Right.
they both have that Matafina in there, if I remember correctly. But the flavor profile and the experience reminded me of the first time that I smoked that cigar because it was you get about an inch into it and you're like, wow, I mean, this cigar was awesome. Very well might be my number 1 cigar of the year. I absolutely loved it. If you haven't, my review's up on CigarFederation.com if you want to check that out. But the complexity, the balance of that cigar was great. It takes you kind of on a little bit of a roller coaster where it starts out sweeter, rich profile. For me, I got a lot more of the spice in the middle, the black pepper spice, kind of plateaued during the middle, and then came down a little bit towards the end, and it was the perfect beginning and the perfect ending to a cigar for me. I could smoke that every day.
Look at you.
I do.
I know. I would. I mean, I'd say it's I do. I mean, you're right. It's reminiscent of a Liga 9, but Liga 9 for me is like it's good and I like it, but it's very uncut, dirty. You know what I mean? Like I know that might not make sense, but like it's just very like earthy. You know what I mean? It's like
I know what you mean. Don't get me wrong though. I don't know what you're doing there.
That's like it's like it sticks to your tongue. Just that like earthy, dirty. It's very chewy, and this was not at all. It was a very clean finish, which I liked.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not really comparing the two cigars. I'm comparing the experience that I had. I mean, the first time that you smoke a cigar where it kind of just blows you away, and you talk to people, and those Liga cigars for either it's a T52 or a number 9. When you smoke that, the first time you smoke it, it's kind of a game changer for you, or at least it was for me. And a lot of people have that same kind of comment. So the experience, I didn't mean to compare the two cigars. I mean, I guess I kind of did, but
it'll take you. I mean, any cigar experience. Anytime you smoke a new cigar, especially when it's somebody like us that we smoke a lot of different cigars, it's gonna take you back to something.
Yeah.
Or it's gonna remind you of something. Now, is it ever gonna be the same? Obviously not. But it will remind you of something, and that's very normal.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was the experience for me where it was just. Because, I mean, I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent. Sometimes we smoke a lot of cigars, like you just said. I mean, we go to this IPCPR, we're taking all these different samples because we want to give reviews to our members so they can get an idea of what to expect when they smoke these cigars. That's our goal. So we end up smoking a lot of cigars, and sometimes it can get monotonous. Like I feel like I've smoked this already. I feel like, this cigar didn't really do anything for me. This cigar didn't really do anything for me. So, but this year I've had a lot of cigars that I really enjoyed, and I've smoked them, and they really jumped out at me. La Colmena from Warped is one of them. Really enjoyed that cigar, and it's a different profile, it's a different take, and I felt the same way about this cigar. The experience reminded me of, wow, this is why I really love smoking cigars. This profile, the way I felt while I smoked this cigar, that's why I do kind of what I do. So that's probably the best compliment that I think I can give.
Dude, and we appreciate it. It's like I told you in the comments, it's very humbling. because you do have access to so many different cigars, and for you to put a statement out there that this could possibly be the #1 cigar personally for you of the year, that it's humbling. It's humbling, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll get off my soapbox and let Logan talk.
Yeah, thank God. So
But I
question.
get a little fired up when I get excited.
Hey,
you know?
hey, man, I know you get a little antsy in your pantsy and stuff. It's all right. So, Gabriel, I got to ask. So, my Selva was, kind of the first Nicaraguan Puro to the European market. And Rob kind of already stole my question. But I feel like it's kind of reverse of what most companies do, right? I mean, Nicaraguan, Honduran tobacco is very popular in the U.S., and the market's kind of changing. I mean, what obstacles did and you might not know because you weren't a part of the company, but when she first went, why go back in the European market when that tobacco is so foreign? Do you know what I mean? What was the thought behind that? You know what I mean?
Well, she started in the European market. That's her market. That's where she lives. She lives in France.
There we
So
go.
she didn't live in the U.S. She studied here in the U.S. in her college days and things like that. She moved to France. She fell in love in France. She got married in France, and that's where she started her life. She was born and raised in Honduras. And by being in France, she felt kind of like homesick from Honduras, and that's why she went back, and she wanted to do something to give back to where she came from, create jobs, and that's why she opened up the factory in Honduras about 9 years ago. The Flor de Ceiba line and the Cumpay line, they're both made by Plasencia in their two different factories, the Nicaraguan and in their Honduran factory. And it's been made there since day one. The difference between us and a lot of people that make cigars with Plasencia is that we'll buy tobacco 3 years in advance just to make sure that our cigars stay as consistent as possible, that the quality is there. She travels to Honduras every other month. She's there every other month making sure that the consistency and the quality are there. Success in the European market. The Flor de Ceiba line has taken off in the last 20 years there, and we're considered over there like a standard when it comes to the Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper.
Okay.
People will actually refer to it as Flor de Ceiba wrapper for other cigars.
No joke, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that's over there. It's in Europe. I mean, we're starting to make some waves here in the States. We're starting to get the ball rolling here. But there's time. We need to dedicate some good time to this and get the consumers behind the product as well as all the shop owners nationwide. And we're not looking to be in every single store either. We're looking to be in high-end, very fine tobacconists, high-end neighborhood stores, people that can honestly get behind the line, that don't carry every single cigar in the world. We want to be able to cater to those clients.
So let me reverse my question here. So you're obviously doing well in Europe. Why come to the U.S. now?
It's the other monster. It's the other monster. It's the best market for cigars. She has a handle on the European market. She wanted to grow, and how is she going to grow? More in the European market. I mean, European market is different than what it is here. In a lot of countries, you have to deal through distributors. You can't go direct and sell with your own sales force. Here in the States, you can. You can build your own sales force, or you can deal with brokers. You can deal with distributors. You have 3 or 4 different options on how you can distribute your cigars here. So it was only a matter of time before she came over here, and I think she finally felt that it was time, because the European market is under control and it's handled, and it's doing very, very well over there. And after the 2 awards, the 2012 award and the 2014 award from Cigar Journal as the best value brand from Honduras, I think she felt that it was time, and those awards were received here in the U.S. at the IPCPR. She felt that it was about time to start getting the American market going.
Interesting. So, I mean, sorry, Rob, I'm asking all the questions. I'm just very fascinated because, I find it fascinating companies that, are going kind of starting to go global, look at different markets. I just find it fascinating. So, what from the prospect, from the European market to the U.S. market. I mean, obviously, I know they smoke more cans and they smoke kind of lighter bodied stuff and not heavy Nicaraguan kick you in the face stuff. I get all that, but just like you were talking about, you have to use distributors, right? What are some of the other differences from the European market to to the U.S. market that either make it more difficult or easier to actually penetrate and get facings in local shops?
To be honest with you, I haven't worked the European market to give you a good enough answer to cover the whole question. But what I do know is that over there it's a more traditional smoking environment. They do have restrictions just like they have here. They probably have more restrictions than what they have here when it comes to smoking in public or in public places. All the cigars, they take completely different warning labels over there than they do over here.
Right.
So those are some of the hurdles that they deal with over there compared to here. As far as sales are sales anywhere you go. You just got to start building it and find the right way of doing it wherever you are. And over there, it's building the relationships with the distributors. The distributors are the ones that are allowed to go out to the different markets. In France, Germany, those guys, you work with a couple of the largest distributors in that country, and you're going to get countrywide exposure. Advertising is direct to the manufacturer for the different magazines over there, and that helps a lot too.
Okay. All right. Enough nerdy questions from Logan and Rob.
What was that? What was that you said, Gabriel?
Sorry.
It's kind of like the same concept here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like your nerdy questions, Logan.
I know, man. Everyone's like giving me hell. They're like, "Oh, Logan is economics." I mean, hey, man, it's what makes the world go round.
Well, no, I mean it's when if you're established in one market, I mean you have to think of the cost benefit analysis from going to that market and into a large market like the United States. I mean, can you service all your current clients at the same level that you've been at while taking on an entire new country? So it's
the way we're doing it. The way we're doing is that the operation in Europe hasn't been touched. It hasn't been affected in any way. Why? Because she built a new team here. Nobody goes back and forth from Europe unless it's herself. But she has a full team over there, and she has a full team over here. But this is basically a standalone operation here in the United States, and they have a standalone operation in Europe. We just sell the same products.
Yeah.
Dude, you're missing on the frequent flyer miles, bro. I'll talk to Omaya about that.
Nah, I got my frequent flyer miles here. Don't worry about it.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, those international flights, that's how you get up to exec platinum. None of these little...
That's where you get to exec platinum.
That's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. I'm just saying. Experience. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
I feel like I'm the only schmuck in the world who pays for his own plane tickets.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, okay, so we've talked a little bit about the history of the company. And just so you guys know, you're listening to Cigar Chat brought to you live on CigarFederation.com, broadcast around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in. We're here with Gabriel Alvarez from Maya Selva Cigars, talking about some of the history of the company and the rich history they've got in Europe and bringing it over to America. Logan, this next segment's brought to us by who?
I'm glad you asked, Rob. Our next segment is brought to us by our good friends at Joya de Nicaragua. You guys haven't heard about the contest that they're giving away, about their contest. They're giving away a trip to the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival in 2015. It's January 14th to 17th. All you have to do to enter, it's like the easiest thing, and I've actually been watching, and I'm surprised more people aren't doing it. It's so simple. You grab a Joya Red, and then on Facebook, on Instagram, or on Twitter, just tag them, Joya Cigars, and use the hashtag #RediscoverJoya, and you get your chance to win. So just do it. It ends in like 3 days. It ends on the 16th. They'll announce the winner on the 17th. Just do it so you can win something. Back to you, Rob.
And you have to spell rediscover correctly.
Dude, Joya got tricky with that. You can just go to their website and figure that out.
Or copy and paste it from somebody else's.
Or yeah, you can just do that too.
I mean, a guy like me, I rely on that little red line that comes up under word. When I spell it wrong, it tells me that I spelled it wrong. But when I'm doing a hashtag, it's like 5 words combined into one. I get one red line no matter what. I mean, everything could be spelled right. So I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants there. And I've never really understood that phrase, but I just used it.
So needless to say, Rob will not be entering the contest. That means there will be one less entry, so your chances are increased by at least one.
Well, chances are I've tried to enter and I just screwed it up. But anyway, okay. So Gabriel, so there's 3 different core lines, I believe, coming out of Maya Selva. So give us a little bit of background on each one of those lines.
All right. Well, the Flor de Cepa is our first line. We'll be celebrating the 20th anniversary next year, and that's our 100% Honduran, Ecuadorian, Connecticut seed cigar. Very medium bodied, extremely well balanced. A lot of good flavor, some spice notes in there, creaminess, little nutty, earthy. It's a very, very pleasant cigar. Your newbies can smoke it. The more refined smokers can smoke it. It's a great smoke in the morning for me with my coffee. It's phenomenal. I love it in the mornings. There we have about 5 or 6 different vitolas here in the United States. And anytime I do an event with different stores and retailers, I have 2 sizes that I use that are not sold to the retailers for events only. So anytime you hear about a Maya Selva event, make sure you go and participate, because you'll get a cigar that's not available other than visiting an event. So you have a Corona, which is it's a 4.5 by 38, and then we have our 6 by 44 Fino in the Flor de Cepa with a nice little pigtail. Our Kumpay line is going to be celebrating its 15th anniversary next year. And we're working on a whole redesign of the packaging and the rings and everything else for the 15th anniversary. And that's a 100% Nicaraguan puro, made in Nicaragua. And that's another medium-bodied smoke. Not your typical Nicaraguan, like what you're smoking nowadays. It's coming out of Nicaragua. It's all the pepper and everything else. It does have its nice peppery notes, but it's subtle. Very creamy smoke, very nice till the end. Has a couple as you go, but nothing crazy. Just a very enjoyable cigar. And then our VZ, the Villa Zamorano, that's made in our own factory in Honduras. It's about 8 years on the market now, and that's what we like to call our economy cigar. 440 to about 625 MSRP. We have 4 different sizes for the States. It comes in on espresso, which is a 3.5 by 52. Robusto, number 15, which is the torpedo. And it comes as well in a Gordo, which is 5.5 by 58. And that's an Indonesian Sumatra wrapper with an Honduran binder and Nicaraguan and Honduran fillers. That's not a puro at all. So, but it's also, that's more medium full, more complex, a lot of different flavor changes as you're smoking it. That's more for the American market. But we've had great results with our 2 core lines that were made for the European market as well. And then now we presented the Maduro collection for the Flor de Cepa line, which your review was on the number 15, the torpedo, which it's an Honduran Habano, naturally fermented, no painting, no nothing. We take the time, ferment the leaves properly, and it's got a Brazilian binder. And depending on the size, it's got Brazilian and Honduran in the filler.
And
that's medium 3/4 body and up, you know.
Yeah, it's a stronger cigar. I love that size. That it's 5.5 by 54 with that torpedo tip, right. But it's not that. Sometimes the torpedo tips can get kind of like ice pick, you know, like they're really pointy, and you end up cutting a bunch of that off. I really liked the size of the cigar. It smoked for me for about an hour and a half, and I was taking my time.
I was
really enjoying
an hour 15, an hour and a half.
Yeah,
depending on how smoking it.
Yeah, I took my time with it for sure, and I tend to smoke pretty slow anyway. But that size is great. So, and that's like you said, that's the newest release. Okay, so we've got. I know we've got samples of everything else in the line, and I'm gonna make Logan review one of them because I don't think Logan's reviewed anything in like 6 months.
Hey man, hey Liz, hey now. Like I've been on a little hiatus, man. Been traveling, got a baby, you know.
Whatever, excuses.
Recouping.
Excuses, excuses. So yeah, so we'll have some reviews posted on those in the coming days. We've got some audience questions here that I'm going to start going through. So, Logan, if you want to jump in with any of these questions, feel free. I'm just going to kind of go down the list here. One of the kind of predominant overall themes in a lot of these questions is where can we find your cigars? So are they available online anywhere, or is there somewhere where people can find a list of where they're available or anything like that?
We're not selling to CI. We're not selling to Famous. Just because we want to support the brick and mortar stores.
Sure.
This is 100% brick and mortar exclusive. And let's say a brick and mortar has an online presence. We're allowing them to put it on their website.
Okay.
But nothing crazy with the big catalogs or anything like that. At the moment, an online source there, you can get it easily. The full line is available, and that's through Cuenca Cigars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go to cuencacigars.com, they have our entire line there.
Okay. And you know what?
And other than that, it depends. You know, what was that?
No, keep going.
Other than that, it depends on where you live. It depends on the state that you're in. My email is available, Gabriel@mayaselvacigars.com. You could email me personally. You can reach through social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Just post your questions there, and we'll get back to you, guaranteed within 24 hours. But normally, it's almost immediately.
Yeah, I can tell you guys for sure that Gabriel is all over that social media. It's that Jose Blanco is the Twitter monster. I don't know, man. Gabriel, you give him a run for your money, man. You are very, very accessible.
You gotta be. I mean, if you're trying to promote a product, I mean, he's a great example of how to reach out and be reachable. And I mean, we're not superstars in any sense. We're not celebrities in any sense. We're just regular guys like the consumers that are doing our job. And my job is to sell cigars, you know. So why wouldn't I be accessible?
It's a good answer. Why wouldn't you be accessible? Logan, why wouldn't he be accessible?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a misstep to not be accessible.
I just want to make sure you're still paying attention.
No, I'm
your
totally
camera,
paying attention.
You hadn't moved, so I just wanted to check and make sure.
No, man, don't be calling me out. Anyway,
I'm giving you a hard time. So I'm gonna go down some of these audience questions here. We touched on this a little bit, and I don't know how well you're gonna be able to, Gabriel. We're gonna throw it out at you. This is from Gay, and he posts a lot of questions here. He lives in France. He says, what do you see as the biggest difference between smoking cigars in France, mostly compared to the U.S.? Is it mostly the size of the cigars or the blends? What do you see the differences between those two markets in that aspect?
I'll tell you this. By seeing what they offer, I have access to our entire portfolio. What's available here, what's available over there. When I came on board, I basically streamlined our portfolio here because we had a lot of the Vitolas that are available in the European market that are doing extremely well over there, but here they're just dead sizes. So there was no sense into keeping them in our portfolio to sell them to everybody and keep inventory here and all of those things because it costs a lot of money to keep the inventory here in the States. So what I notice is that, yeah, definitely, and I'll be able to answer better after June because I'll be in France in June. And I'll experience everything that has to do with the company over there. But at the moment, the best answer I could probably give you is Vitolas are more traditional in Europe. Smaller ring gauges, longer cigars, that's what they like over there. Here, it's all about right now, the 6x60s are doing extremely well. The 52s, 54s, 56s do very, very well here. Over there, 52, 54 will do very well. But that's about as big as it gets.
Well, you actually you jumped me here and covered our next question. This question from Punch Nevitt. He was asking about in the Florida Selva line you have on your website. There's 14 different Vitolas listed, but not all of them are available in the United States market. And you just answered that. So I just wanted to give him a little shout out just for posting a quick question for us. So next question here is from Man Angel. You recently switched from, you were with Coots Cigars, now you're with Maya Selva. He says, can you tell us what it was about Maya Selva Cigars and their brand that made you feel that was the next company that you wanted to work for? What was the allure of working with a company like Maya Selva?
Man, just the history behind the company. I sat down with Maya. We talked about the position here that she had open, what her expectations were. She heard my reasoning behind her expectations. We came into a happy medium. The quality behind the product, that's her number one goal, quality. And to me, in this market, to stand apart from everybody else, I think quality is a key factor in success. And I've been hearing that from anybody that smokes our cigars, that the quality is superb. You know, and everybody enjoys the fact that they'll pick up our cigar. It's well filled, barely, you know, will you get a soft spot in any of our cigars. Wrappers are always top notch. Ashes hold on almost the entire cigar if you smoke it properly. And I think that a key to success in any company is that you have to stand apart and you have to have that quality. And to me, it's for this kind of company where we have what I would consider, an ultra premium product, which is what we cater to and how we want to present our lines. We're not an extremely expensive cigar, and it's easily accessible to the average smoker, but we want to make sure that the quality is top notch so you feel that you're actually getting your money's worth.
I like that answer. Now, part of me, when I see that you go from a company like Coots, it's established here in this country, to a company like Maya Selva, and I'll be honest, I didn't know much about them before you had made your announcement and sent us some samples. So I did a little bit, like I said, did a little bit of research and found out they had a longer history. Is there any attraction for you as part of the it's a challenge for you to take this company that's, they're not really established in this country yet, and you can be a part of that. Was that kind of attractive to you as well?
That was another thing, that I could start at the ground level with the company and help this company grow. And once it's successful, I can look at it as it's a task that I was able to complete successfully.
Yeah, I can see that. The empire that you helped build. There's something about that that's attractive to me as well. I don't know.
I see it as a great future for my career. I'm not the type of person to jump from job to job to job to job. And I have to focus on my family, I have to focus on my career, and I have to focus on what's important to me. And this, to me, was a better fit for my future plans in life, to be able to move ahead in this industry.
Yeah, no, that all makes a ton of sense. Guys, you're listening to Cigar Chat, brought to you live on CigarFederation.com, broadcast around the world, the Armed Forces Radio Network. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are out there in the world today. Thank you for keeping us safe so we can sit here and talk about cigars. We're here with Gabriel Alvarez, Maya Selva Cigars. Logan, final segment brought to us by who?
Final segment, Robert, is brought to us by, how awesome does that sound? Rodrigo Cigars. Check him out, friend of the show, RodrigoCigars.com. Just read his website. It looks good. Check out his cigars. He just launched the new Corona project, and he started shipping about a week ago. Check him out, RodrigoCigars.com.
And I think you can buy Rodrigo Cigars from their website.
I think so.
So you can check those out as well. Another question here from Logan. How much time we have left?
Let me check, Robert. Let me just see.
I'm not sure what time we started.
I don't know. It kind of threw me off. We got 16 minutes and 0 seconds.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so another question from Man Angel here. I feel like this is a pretty good question. He always asks good questions.
He's a good guy, Man Angel.
He says, I'm starting to notice that Honduran tobacco is being utilized more frequently. He says, do you feel that Honduras is the next major tobacco market to contribute to the cigar industry as a whole?
Well, right now, to the cigar industry, let's say the American cigar industry, where we have access to. You have the Dominican Republic, you have Nicaragua, you have Honduras. Those are your three major countries where the fabricating is. You have a lot of crops being grown elsewhere, Ecuador, Brazil, Costa Rica. There's a couple of small factories in Costa Rica. I guarantee you there's a couple of factories in Ecuador. But where your main source for where the cigars are coming from for the United States is those three countries. So yeah, I definitely think that the Honduran cigar market will pick up in the next couple of years. Um, Once that whole Nicaraguan thing starts getting to be too much for certain people, that whole spice kick and everything else, the Honduran tobacco is spicy, but not as, and has a lot different flavors. It's amazing how they're bordering countries, and yet the crops taste completely different. So yeah, I do think that the Honduran, tobacco will make a big jump in the coming years.
Yeah, I can I can see what you're saying about the market for Nicaraguan tobacco. Well, it's strong, and it's going to remain strong because there's a lot of damn good cigars that are coming out of Nicaragua. But I could see where there's that niche in between the Dominican and the Nicaraguan that Honduran tobacco seems to fill. I'm not as familiar with Honduran tobacco as I am with a lot of the stuff in Nicaragua and the Dominican, but from the experience that I've had, I think you're right. It does fit right into that niche in between the two. Logan, like I said, I'm going to keep going down the list, man.
You are just doing a hell of a job. I do not want to interrupt the job that you are doing.
I'm on a roll. I'm feeling good tonight.
I know, man. Feeling good. Just keep on rocking.
I had a cup of coffee before the show. Maybe I should do this more often.
That was a mistake.
No, it was good. I mean, I have to pee, but other than that, we're good. So another question from Man Angel. He was on fire too. He says, "What do?" And we're asking a lot of questions about the European market. So just answer us as best you can. First off, he says, "Congratulations on your recent engagement to Grace." So congratulations. So what do Europeans normally pair with their cigars, beverage-wise?
Same thing we do. They're people.
That's what I would have said too.
Liquor, coffee, nothing. It's all up to them. I mean, they have everything that we have available. It's cigars are smoked around the world for the same purpose, and that's relaxation. Settling down from your day or starting your day off with a cigar. But normally in the morning, nobody picks up a glass of, well, can't say normally, but
unless you're Skip Martin.
Most people will pick up a cup of coffee, not a cup of scotch or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, anywhere you go, you're going to see, and it's all a preference, a personal preference to anybody on what you're going to smoke with, and it all depends on what you're smoking too. So
what about you? Give us, from the Maya Selva lines, give us some of your favorite pairings.
Flor de Ceiba, I'll pair it in the mornings with coffee. At night, I'll pair it with a nice red wine. Merlots, Cabs, definitely. The Maduros even more on a nice strong Cab. I'll smoke a Maduro with that. Scotch, definitely. When I'm out partying, it's usually Grey Goose or Tito's vodka, and I'll be smoking probably our VZ line or maybe the Kumpai line. Goes great. Since it's a medium body, not too strong, not too peppery, you could definitely, pair it with vodka or anything like that, or your spirit of choice. I mean, it all depends on your personal palate and your personal preferences.
I mean, for me, with that 15 Maduro, I would go with a nice bourbon that's got a little bit of a kick to it, maybe like a Booker's, something like that, or some Florida Caña 12, maybe the 18. I think those. Nice and neat. Yeah, I think those would pair well. It's neither is going to overpower the other. Well too. What's that?
Some Zacapa Centenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a great matchup.
That's good stuff.
I would drink some tea.
Would you really? You'd really pair it with tea?
Dude, I'm telling you, man. And I'm getting more people in my camp here. Is all I really drink is, I'm not a big drinker because we've talked about my drunk alter ego, Chuck Murphy, and he's not allowed to come out anymore. But so I drink a lot of teas. I spend a lot of time in Britain and India, right? And I really think a black tea, there's nothing that pairs better with a cigar that allows you to kind of cleanse your palate still have some flavors without totally screwing up the cigar than any sort of black tea, other than Earl Grey. And that was also confirmed by Dion. So, hey, Dion says it's good enough for me.
All right. I don't think I've ever paired. I've paired stuff with iced tea before, and
Oh no, man, that's too much sugar and everything else.
Well, no, unsweetened.
Oh well, that's just not southern. It's just not southern.
I can't do sweet tea, man.
Oh, dude, that's what I drink. Oh, that's so. I do have a question though. Now that we're got me all jazzed up. So let me ask you guys are. How can we keep coming back to this whole European thing? But you've got European roots, right? The American market, obviously talked about, is much different. And in the American market, it's a freaking rat race of who's putting out the newest thing, what's new, what's coming, all of that. So, I mean, are you going on the approach to the U.S. market? Are you going to try to get it in that race and have a new cigar every year at IPCPR and start doing all the limited editions? Or is the plan to stay more to kind of core European, I wouldn't say values, but more of the European style where you've got your blends, maybe it's a line extension or whatever, but it's not the U.S. market rat race?
Nah, it's there's no sense for a company like ours to try to get into that race. We want to build a great foundation here in the United States, and to do that, I think we need to concentrate on getting the core lines out, getting them recognized, getting them into people's hands, having them smoke it, and definitely develop the core lines here in the States within the next few years. I mean, yeah, are we going to do line extensions and things like that? Are things in the talks already? Definitely. But nothing crazy like that. No seasonals, that type of stuff.
Got it.
Logan,
that's all I got, Rob.
No, that was it. You're done. Okay, you're tapped out.
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
Okay, so I got a question here from Mickey, and he's asking why there's only one size in the Florida Selva Maduro. There's more than one size, but I think there's only one size listed on the website.
On the website, because right now we're working on the website. We're trying to transition it to be accessible and have all the information from the States. But we just launched these two sizes at the IPCPR, so they will be on the website very soon. All the descriptions, sizes, pictures. We're just waiting for the pictures to come back from Honduras, from our marketing team over there, and they'll be on the website shortly.
Okay. So it's, as you mentioned before, it's available in the Torpedo number 15 and a 6x60, correct?
Correct, and the Robusto, which is what I'm smoking right now.
Oh, and a Robusto, so 3 different sizes.
Correct. The Robusto was the original launch.
Okay. Okay, that's right. Okay, yeah, you said that.
I had a question.
Oh,
so
go.
You were saying stuff was made at, you kind of started, Maya kind of got her start at Placencia, learned, about the tobacco business. What was the impetus for her to go, other than being a quasi-philanthropist and wanting to bring jobs? I mean, was that the idea of building the factory in Honduras? Was it that you wanted to cost savings? I mean, what was the idea of building the factory in Honduras several years ago? I think you said 9 years ago.
It's more of a philanthropist mentality. She wanted to make sure that she was giving back to her country, and by opening up her own factory, she was producing jobs on a constant basis. Now she's growing her own crops as well, so she has the farming going. So there's jobs just being continually, there's growth in jobs over there for them.
Got it. Okay. And so what percentage of cigars that you guys make is actually made at that factory, and how many pairs do you have compared to what's made at Placencia?
Well, no, Placencia is a monster, but Placencia makes our Florida Selva line, and makes our Cuba line. And the VZ line is completely made in our factory. So the pairs of rollers, I can't tell you. I haven't been to the factory yet. I'll be out there probably in March, and I'll have more information as to the factory, and there'll be pictures and everything else that we'll be putting up. So
cool.
But it's a small factory. It's nothing huge.
I mean, how many pairs do you have? Do you happen to know?
Last I heard, and we were talking about it, I think there was like 25 pairs.
Well, I mean, that's not that small.
It's a decent size, yeah.
It's a decent size, but nothing compared to Placencia.
Well, of course, it's like you said, they're a monster. No, with 25 pairs, I mean, you're banging out a pretty decent amount of cigars.
Yeah. But like now we're catering to 2 markets.
Exactly, so. And that was the part of the question that I got to originally. When you have to, when you're jumping from one market to the other, you want to make sure like you had said initially that you've got your there's the European sales team and there's the American sales team, but you have to have the infrastructure in place to be able to supply both of those sales teams with the product that they need. So that was what I was getting at before.
Yeah, and before the United States operation started, all that was adjusted in the Honduras factory. So.
Yeah, sure. And the Honduras factory just makes the one blend.
Correct.
Okay, and then one other question that we talked about finding the cigars online. You said it was cuencacigars.com, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
I put it in the chat.
Okay, yeah, because I think you the audio apparently cut out when you said what it was, and I know some people were interested. Let me see. I think we've kind of touched on most of this stuff. Another one from Man Angel. I think every cigar that I've seen from you guys and every sample that you sent us, they all had footbands on them. But I think they all had the Maya Selva logo on there. But the number,
except for the number 15.
Except for the number 15s. What was the reason for distinguishing that particular size?
Well, the number 15, it's the one size other than the Robusto that goes, throughout our entire portfolio. We have a 15 in the VZ, we have a 15 in the Kumpai, and we have a 15 in the Flor de Selva. And that was the newest size in all three brands a few years back. So when she presented the number 15, since it was a new size and everything else, she put the footband as being the number 15 to make it stand alone and help push it out a little stronger.
Okay. Yeah, I liked. I'm visual. I'm a very visual guy. I like the differentiation of that particular size across all of your lines. So this is the number 15, and in a way, it becomes kind of almost like your signature size, where it's if you refer to a number 15, people are going to know what you're talking about. And I like that. I think that's a pretty cool way, especially when you have so many Vitolas, to really have one that goes across all the lines. You're going to distinguish it that way. I like that idea. So that was another good question from Man Angel. For once, Logan, I think we got through all the audience questions.
That's amazing. It's because I haven't been dropping these stupid questions.
Yeah, it's because you've been quiet. Yeah, this is a really productive show, and you don't say anything.
I know, man. Well, it's I don't know. I'm still kind of cold in the house, and my feet are a little cold, and I don't know, man.
Don't even go there. I've been in negative 10-degree weather. For a Miami boy, come on.
Dude, listen, man.
I don't know anything about
that. I just spent 2.5 weeks in sunny India when it was 100 degrees and 90% humidity. Dude, you don't know hot until you've been in India. And you don't know cold until you've been in my house right now. It's freezing.
At least you're not out in the garage. That's good.
Make sure the baby's warm.
The baby is snug as a bug in a rug.
There you go.
And so is the Labradoodle. They're great, but me, I take one for the team, man.
I think it's funny that whenever you mention Callie, you always mention Truman.
Because
Callie being the baby, Truman being the dog.
Well, it's funny that I say that because Allie and I, and nobody knows this except for Rob. Well, maybe Rob didn't even know this. So, Truman, we've had him for 3.5 years, right? And so this last week, my parents are in town. So Truman actually had a stroke, or not a stroke, but a seizure, in front of all of us. So it really freaked us out. I mean, he's fine now. He's back to barking at, the UPS man and eating tubs of peanut butter. So he's fine. But it just was kind of put everything in perspective because I've always thought of Truman as kind of like a dog, right? But, when that happened, I was like, man, he really is kind of our child. You know what I mean? So anyways, long story short, not trying to get sappy. Truman's fine. Don't worry about Truman. He's just fine. But, yeah, he is kind of our kid, So.
Oh, definitely.
And it doesn't help when Allie's like, Callaway, say hi to your brother. And, and that's perpetuated,
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah.
Well, at some point, you're going to have to tell her the difference between pet and sibling.
Well, I don't know, man. Truman thinks he's real.
Somewhere down the line.
He sleeps under the covers with us. Can you believe that? His head will stick out on the top of the covers like a human. It's ridiculous.
Once we get offline, I'm going to have to have a talk with you about boundaries.
I know, dude.
But, we could save that for later. So, Gabriel, let's see. We've got a few minutes left. What, in a nutshell, can you say that would, if you haven't tried a Maya Selva cigar, what can you expect, and what would you point people towards to give them the best experience in their first attempt at smoking something from one of the Maya Selva lines?
Well, the expectation behind the company and our brands is one thing is I want to tell, I also have an expectation of quality. That's our forefront. That's what we're pushing for, and we're very, very stringent at the factories, and we make sure that that quality is brought to you guys. And for anybody that wants to try our lines, know what you want. If you're a new guy that wants to get into smoking cigars, stick to the Connecticut's. Those are normally the more mild cigars. Ours is not mild per se, but it is, to my palate, it's a mild to medium. A lot of guys are saying it's a solid medium, but it all depends on your palate. The Nicaraguan is also a great way to go because it's nice and medium, very well balanced. It's not overpowering. It's a very traditional smoke. If you're looking for flavor, complexity, go to the VZ line. You'll definitely get that there. The Maduros, you'll definitely get it there as well.
Oh, well, I think I heard the little chime, so I think we're out of time.
Bang.
So, Gabriel, again, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, this is a line, like, I'm learning just as much about your line of cigars as everybody who's watching the show. I mean, it's all new to me. So, after smoking that Maduro, I'm really excited to check out the rest. So, we'll be doing that in the next few weeks, I think, Logan, and posting up some reviews. So, more to look forward to. In 30 seconds, let everybody know where they can find you online.
Well, Instagram, Gabe Alvarez _. Facebook, just Gabriel Alvarez. Search me. I'll be a picture of my daughter and Grace. Twitter, Gabe Alvarez _ as well. And then Maya Selva Cigars all across the board. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Maya Selva Cigars US in Facebook. But everywhere else is just Maya Selva Cigars.
Perfect. So, guys, check them out, and you can find their cigars at cuencacigars.com. They have everything in stock online. Really appreciate the support. Logan, we're going to be back next week with
Johnny Bravo from J Fuego.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be a good show.
I'm excited.
We interviewed him at IPCPR. He was so nervous.
And his name is not Johnny Bravo, by the way.
Oh, it's Joey Bravo.
I know, but
hey. You call him Johnny Bravo, and I'm going to do that during the whole show, and I think I'm going
to laugh every second.
Anyway, guys, we appreciate the support. You can find us at CigarFederation.com. Thanks, everybody out there in the armed forces, for everything that you do for us. And everybody have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Likewise.
And we're back to the segment where we can cuss, and Logan really shines and comes out of his shell. My favorite segment. Because now you can say, like, dick, cunt, balls, cunt muscle, whatever you want to say, Gabriel.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're a cusser by nature, but I am. So, anywho.
I don't know. Gabriel strikes me as being a little more refined than you.
Hey, man.
No, I can shoot the shit with the best of them, but...
See, there you go. There you go.
It's whatever. So, Logan, boundaries with the dog in the bed.
Yeah, man.
Maybe we should address this. Should we dedicate some time to this?
Let's save that for the upcoming pipe show. I think that would be the proper forum.
We might need some filler for that. So go ahead. Okay, so we got some giveaways to do, right? What are we giving away, and how are people going to win it, and all that good stuff.
First, I'm ordering. Just let me preface is that you guys tapped me out, and everyone was up my ass about these giveaways. This is that they're all mailed. I'm up to date 100%. I'm just ordering some boxes. I've got the giveaways right now. Thank you, Gabriel, for getting to me today. I appreciate it. And
no
we'll do a couple of site giveaways, but let's do this. We'll do two things. The first 8 people that email me, Logan at Cigar Federation, with Maya Selva in the subject line, full name and address, will win a 5-pack. Win a 5-pack of cigars. And then also we will do one podcast giveaway that'll end a week from today. And just so you know, if you're listening to this like 7 years later, you have to email me by the 19th.
Can we ask a question, though? Can there be a question?
Yeah, the question to win, you got to answer the question.
I've got a question.
Okay, well, what is it?
This is something you mentioned during the show, so people would have to have paid attention.
I know. I totally forgot that, because when I did that, it was shocking.
No, I got one, but I've got one.
What is it?
How long have you guys had Truman?
Oh, okay. There you go. So the podcast giveaway, you got to tell me how long I've had Truman. Yeah, I have said that.
And it's not something you can find anywhere. You have to listen to the entire show. So there you go.
Or
Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
that's true. Anyways, thank you, Rob.
I always try to make things better.
Dude, you do, man. You really do.
I don't always succeed, but I try. Okay, so we're gonna pick. We'll pick 8 winners. I don't know. Are we gonna announce them? I don't think
Yeah,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna do it
announce them.
tonight. We'll ask a couple of questions here.
Okay. All right. So go ahead.
Oh, so just like throw it back on me when I'm trying to read the question, the
Well,
answers.
I don't know. You said you had a few questions.
Yeah, well, I've got this question. So let me ask you, Gabriel, and this is obviously unrelated to Maya Selva, but your soon-to-be, I guess, wife, your fiance Grace, was in the cigar industry. How has it been since she's been kind of out of the industry? You see her itching to get back in? Do you see her kind of over your shoulder saying, "Hey, can I help you out with this?" Like, how do you? Because that was when my wife was when she was on maternity leave. She was just so ready to go back to work because she just missed it. But I'm curious to know if you have any insight and if Grace is going to get back into the industry. I know it's unrelated.
No, not anytime soon, if at all. But she's concentrating on what she's doing, which is the advertising and marketing. She really loves that field. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. She really enjoys that field, and she's going in head in, full force, and she's concentrating on that. She helps me, incredibly with supporting me with the brand and putting it out there for people, smoking it herself and putting pictures of her smoking the cigars and stuff like that. But I don't really see it anytime soon.
Wait, Logan, you jumped right in with the personal questions, man.
Hey, man, it's an after dark. Everything's fair game, man.
Everything's on the board.
Hey, man, if you asked me about Chuck Murphy, I'd tell you a story, but you don't want to know about Chuck Murphy.
I've heard some of the stories. Some of them are pretty funny.
They're funny, but he's a violent individual. There's a reason I don't drink anymore. He's violent. Anyways, so Gabriel, question. Well, actually, that was a dumb question, so we're not going to ask that. So, it kind of with your, obviously your specialty. You kind of went on with Coots. You obviously helped build the brand. Did the marketing. We're involved kind of in a lot of different aspects. What for you is the most exciting part of being in the cigar industry? Is it being out on the road like you are now and meeting customers? Is it more in the blending process? Is it more in the operation side? What's exciting to you?
Honestly, it's the whole aspect of the industry to me is exciting because I truly love this industry, and I love getting out there into the stores, working with the reps and getting into new territories and opening up new accounts, and that's very exciting. Marketing, branding, that's all very exciting to me as well. And with my position as director of sales with Maya Selva, it's honestly, that's the title, but my position is basically I run the entire United States operation, so I have a hands-on on absolutely every single aspect of it, other than the blending itself. And that'll probably, come in the years once the brands are moving forward and starting to basically take a little bit of market presence. And I'll be out in the factories working on new projects and stuff like that as well. So, but the whole aspect of it, from the agronomy side to the sales side, the marketing side, I love just the whole package of it.
Got it. Okay. Good answer. What's your least favorite part?
Quotas, man.
Yeah, man. Quotas will turn a good man bad. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. That's for sure. It's a good answer.
That was a good answer.
I wasn't expecting that. See, that's what After Dark does, Rob. It brings out the honesty in individuals.
It's not often that one of our guests gets a good, honest chuckle out of both of us.
Yeah, because that was a good answer.
That was perfect. Oh man, I had a question and I lost it. Logan, continue. Yeah,
well, no, at this point, Rob, I was kind of waiting for you because I was trying to get these winners all lined out.
So go ahead and check your email for those winners. So Gabriel, I know that you smoked the Maduro a fair amount. You mentioned you smoked it every day, so I'm jealous. Which is your favorite Maya Selva blend?
Honestly, it's gotta be the Maduro number 15 that you smoked. It's, to me, the first time I ever smoked that cigar, I was just dumbfounded by how good the cigar was and the quality behind it and the consistency behind that cigar. Ask Tony, the first thing I smoked when I landed here is I forgot to bring my number 15s, and he had one. in his travel humidor, and I'm like, thank you very much. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is what I'm going to smoke right now. And in our first stop, that's what I smoked.
So I'm the boss, so I can take that.
No, not like that, but I just didn't.
I don't
give
like
him
that.
I didn't give him a chance to take it away from me.
So you just clipped it, light it, and then before he knew what was
That's
going
it.
on, you were already
That's
smoking.
it. I licked it. It's mine.
Yeah, done.
Dude, that's how it works.
Staked your claim. No, that's funny. So Logan, what do you got on those winners?
And our winners tonight, in no particular order, are as follows. We have got Craig Greenwood, Swin Lindstrom, Rob from Denver, Fast Jimmy, and I like it because you don't make me ship to Canada. You have an address in the U.S., so good on you. Chris Bros, Shooter, Man Angel, and oldie but goodie, hadn't been around in a while. I'm glad to see him here, Sebastian G. Allen.
Yeah, where's he been?
I don't know, man, but I don't know. I don't know if he was half paying attention or what, because he said, because the podcast was like, how many years have you had Truman, right? And he's like, 5 years? I'm like, no, not quite. But hey, he's still within order. He still got it. So hey, rules are rules. So
Right.
those will be shipped out early next week once I get all the bags I ordered in boxes. So please don't email me asking where they're at on Monday, because I will probably have a freaking conniption. So anyways, Chuck Murphy will come out.
The first person to email you and ask them where they are forfeits their winnings.
Yes, because listen. Anyways, we won't get down that rat hole.
We love our guests and our audience and everybody. It's good. I mean, without them, we wouldn't be here. I mean, the audience bitches a little bit, but we love them for it, right?
Yeah, we love them. Yeah.
Or no, we don't love them for it. We love them in spite of it. How about that?
Exactly. That's better.
Yeah, that's it. So, Gabriel, I told you we'd have you here for about an hour, and I lied because it's been a little bit longer than that. But
That's all right.
Yeah,
I was
we're
late.
gonna. No, actually, you were late. I take it back. This is all your fault that it took this long. So appreciate it. I know you got an event that you got to get to, so we're gonna let you go. Thanks again for hanging out with us and being so generous with the giveaways. So hopefully we can some of the guys from Cigar Federation will smoke some of these and post up some pictures and their thoughts and some reviews on the cigars.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I do appreciate it.
Yeah,
No problem,
and best of success, man, with the new with this new direction, and hopefully, I mean, with the way that Maduro is smoking, I don't think you're gonna have a hard time selling it. So hopefully it catches on.
Exactly.
Yeah, really do appreciate you taking the time, brother.
Not a
Best
problem,
of
guys.
luck and travel safe.
Thank you.
Stay warm, dog.
We'll try, man. We'll try.
All right, guys, appreciate the support. We'll be back next week with Jay Fuego. Everybody have a good weekend, and everybody stay safe.
Later, people.